Good morning, Chris. Good morning, John. Thank you ever so much for joining me on the Insurance Broker Podcast. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for inviting us along.
Morning, Sarah. See you this morning.
Nice and bright, sunny morning it is, although it was raining about 10 minutes ago. So it's one of those days, I suspect. So you guys are Luca Rowe, and I would really love to hear a bit about Luca Rowe, the background. Tell me, Chris, where did Luca Rowe come from, and what's your journey been like?
Well, my father started Luca Rowe actually with Simon Rowe back in 1989. I joined in 93, I think. Business went through some bumpy patches because Simon Rowe died quite tragically in 1996. Yeah, my dad and I had to, keep the business going for a period of time. But we got through that. Funnily enough, the business started more or less in a recession. We find ourselves in another one now. Gone through probably a couple in the interim as well, but no, we've done well. Bought our first business in 2000, bought another one in 2006, and grew organically at the same time. So and again bought one in 2016, 2019. Moved to new premises a couple of years ago to carry on the expansion. Yeah.
That's incredible, really incredible. So how big are you now? How many sort of employees are you? And
we're a team of 38 at the moment. We've just taken on, I think, 3 new recruits. So that kind of brings us back up to 38. Broadly, we have a personal lines team, focuses on the high net worth, SME, and then we move into the kind of mid-corp and the corporate stuff. We have some specialisms within that. We do a lot of construction, a lot of property owners, and a lot of manufacturing. And we also have a niche in the audiovisual and events industry. It's
incredible to be still looking at expansion when you're in difficult times like we're in at the moment. You've just mentioned going into recession. How have you found the onboarding of people during this year?
Well, actually, we opened the office, so we've done a couple of bubbles after the initial lockdown. So we worked on a Monday, Tuesday bubble and a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday bubble, and it's okay to onboard people into that environment. Onboarding in a lockdown environment is something new to us, and we have 2 members of the team that we will be onboarding in a lockdown environment, which will be a different set of challenges, but. We're confident that the team will rise to it and they'll be successfully onboarded.
From what we've, discussed in previous conversations, it's quite a close-knit team that you have there that, everybody's kind of on board with each other, which sounds great. And that's, I suppose, what you need in the environment that we're all living through at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very much bigger than the sum of our parts. And, we're very much a team-based business. We get on with each other. We play outside of work. Those bonds are quite deep.
Not from Thursday, though. No outside of work play from Thursday.
And I can assure you that we will all be severely missing the Christmas party this year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about the Christmas party only a couple of weeks ago, but suspect it might now be a summer 2021 party. We'll see. So, John, can you tell me your background and your introduction to Luca Rowe brings a whole different dynamic, doesn't it? So I'd be really interested if you can give us a bit of background on you, how you came to join Luca Rowe, and what you're kind of bringing to the party.
Yeah, sure. I'm a new entrant to a relatively new entrant to Luca Rowe, having joined just over a year ago. But this is also my first move into broking. Prior to that, I spent some time at Allianz, and I started my insurance career at RSA. And my longer-term background is technical underwriting, then moving into more portfolio management, and then latterly into more general management roles. So I've made that transition from insurer to broker. It's been a good journey to make. I've also in that time, I guess, gone from Allianz, one of the world's largest financial services organization, to joining a much a much smaller business as well, and that in itself has been a very rewarding journey for me.
I can imagine that your sort of underwriting head and experience has been quite helpful during 2020 when you're sort of looking at what the insurers are thinking. And I know a lot of the composite market's been quite difficult to get hold of, and new business has been a bit tricky. So I imagine you've been able to bring, you know, actually this is what's happening behind closed doors to those conversations.
Yeah, certainly to a degree, and I think it's been useful to be able to understand what the insurers might be going through, and also to consider it from our side. So I can offer both perspectives, and that's helped in the two-way conversations with the insurers as well as from our side. I think one of my big insights in the move from insurer to broker is on the insurer side. Certainly my experience was, if you've got a really solid client-facing proposition and some good trading underwriters, you get a good flow of business coming in. But on the broking side, it's been a real learning for me just how difficult it is to win new customers. And really, you can know people, you can make a connection, but really winning that business and getting it over the line is a lot more challenging than I realized, having looked from the other side.
I think one of a quote I wrote down from you, a John Dunn quote from one of our previous conversations, was that it's not good enough to have a friendly face and a good proposition. You need even more, which is probably even harder to do in current times. And obviously, a lot of that is around the collateral you put out, the information you're giving your prospective audience, as well as your customer audience, your actual customers and things like that. How do you guys go about differentiating or sort of being that extra mile?
I'll make a start on that. Our strategy and the way the business has been built, as Chris outlined, is over time there's been strategic acquisitions that have added to the business, and that's brought volume. But also we have a really clearly established propositions that we bring out to our different customer groups, and we have a clear idea of who our ideal customer looks like, which really helps to focus the approach we take to winning business and retaining business. So that means that the proposition we deliver to our customers is well thought out, and that we deliver it in a way that we know our customers and we know what they need. However, this year has presented its challenges. As Chris said, one of our areas of specialism is in the audiovisual and events industry, which has effectively been shut down for the past 7 months, and going into the second lockdown, the outlook doesn't look great there either. So that has meant we've had to focus on some slightly different things, and that means really looking for referrals, recommendations, cross-sell, upsell opportunities within our own book, and that has been really strong for us throughout this year. We've also taken this opportunity this year to really think about how we can do some things a bit better. So at the beginning of September, we refreshed our brand and have started the rollout of our refreshed brand, which just brings a bit more of a modern identity to what's already a really well-established brand. We do quite a lot in our local environment in terms of sports sponsorship, sponsorship at schools, and in the past, or recent past, we perhaps haven't made the best of some of those opportunities. So we've refocused again there, and plugging in with the local community is a key component of how we're going to focus on growth for the coming period.
I think focus is, you've mentioned that quite a lot in terms of your target market. You're focused on who they are, you're focused on what they need. And it's the rifle, not scattergun approach, really, isn't it? And I think that focus is critical in today's environment and going forward. It always has been, but it is even more necessary to be efficient and to get through what I think is going to be quite a hard few years coming. You've both mentioned that you've got audiovisual niche, you've got some other niches that you work across. What niches in addition to what you've already said, have you found have really struggled in COVID, and what sort of things are you guys able to do to help? And what areas do you think actually maybe haven't struggled and might continue to grow?
Well, I guess one obvious thing is wherever a business has assets, that they need to be covered. So that kind of maintains, and in a hardening market, that is potentially an area for growth. What else has struggled? Construction has held up pretty well at the moment. That remains to be seen. Of course, we've got Brexit around the corner. So how our manufacturers are going to hold up in that environment, again, is another unknown.
I think another area of real struggle has been the restaurant sector or suppliers to the food and drinks industry. And in some ways, there's a double challenge there, as we're also starting to see a reduction in the availability of capacity for some of those sectors as well. So it's very much a challenged area, and that's where for all brokers, really being close to your customers, making timely contact, knowing your customers, being early in the conversations with the insurers as well, to if there is bad news coming in terms of the availability of capacity, it is about the early conversations that really make the difference.
Yeah, I think hardening market and all the problems that come with it, and just having to hold on to your current client base it's going to be a much more volatile space, isn't it? That, you know, current clients, you know, these guys have been with us for years, it's great, but they're going to be attacked from all different sides because everybody is in this position at the moment, and price is going to be critical. And also quite a difficult factor going forward. What do you think is going to happen? What do you talk global economy over the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you think we're going to be? What are your global predictions? It's a tricky one, I know.
I think a lot depends on what happens with Brexit, actually, for the UK economy. Globally, oh God, honestly, if I had a crystal ball, who knows? Look, the whole world is going to be suffering. You know, the whole of Europe is suffering. The UK is suffering, and that means that our clients are going to be shrinking, not growing. And if our clients are shrinking, then the likelihood is that we'll shrink with them, actually, for a period of time until the growth starts to return. You know, it is cyclical, but it's going to be a tough couple of years.
Yeah.
Hasn't played out. COVID hasn't played out fully in the United States yet. It's getting worse in Europe. And then China has been very quiet. I don't even know what's going on in China as far as COVID is concerned. So, it's going to be a challenging couple of years.
I think so too. Just so challenge, opportunity, discuss. But I know you guys mentioned that you have done a number of acquisitions over the last 10, 15 years, 20 years, 20 years, 2000, you said your first one was, didn't you? There's lots of activity in the consolidator market at the moment. I wake up to emails every day talking about who's bought who. What are you guys planning there?
Well, we have conversations ongoing. We've had some conversations that have been going on for years that haven't necessarily yet come to fruition. But we've always very much been of the make an acquisition, bring it into our business, integrate it, both in terms of the systems and culturally, embed it for a couple of years, and then go and look for another one, actually. And organic growth is a must. We're constantly looking for organic growth, and you have to have that organic growth. But an acquisition makes just quite a big difference in your growth journey, and if you can plug one of those in every couple of years, then that's a really big part of our strategy.
And obviously, it's quite a different story for the acquired broker, isn't it? In terms of if they're going to one of the big consolidators, it'll be a very different story to coming to, for example, somebody like Rowe.
One of the points Chris made there was about culture, and we have some really strong core values within our business, and we use those for all recruitment decisions, and we also use them to inform placement decisions and really all aspects of our business and our strategy. And in looking for potential acquisition targets, that cultural fit is really important. We've been very fortunate the last acquisition that that the team made, we couldn't have asked for a better cultural fit, and they slipped in seamlessly into our team, and we've had a real meeting of minds and approach about how to go about things. And I think that's a really key cornerstone for anyone that we were speaking to. And if there wasn't that cultural fit, then we wouldn't proceed, because without it, the difficulties that come up in the normal course of integrating a business just become so much more difficult if the perspectives and the approach are completely different.
Yeah, the cultural piece has quite a, it's becoming more prevalent, isn't it? I say prevalent, I probably mean more understood in terms of the effects that that can bring together. So you guys looking at your acquisition, what do you look for? Do you look for a geographical spread? Do you look for different niches? What's your, when you're looking at a target in addition to the culture, what else are you considering?
Yes, yeah, we'll look at geographics, because I say this has been our strategy until now, so that doesn't necessarily mean it will stay that way. But yeah, geography clearly plays a part. If we're going to bring them into our premises, into our office, then geography is important in that. You delve into all sorts of things. It's what the business is made up of. How it's split, how much personal lines you've got in there, how connected that personal lines is. What is the mainstay? Is there a specialism? Is there a niche in there? Yeah, it's a whole piece. It's a whole piece that helps you decide whether it's the right business for you.
We've been approached by a few people over, I don't know, the last 6 to 8 months, and probably in equal numbers, those that are thinking about going out and starting on their own and using this time to start to prepare that, but equally those that are starting to think whether whether now is my exit time. So if I was to come across a broker, and I have been over the last 6 months, that's having conversations about, I think now might be time for me to get out, but I'm not sure whether I want to get out totally, whether I just want to bring some extra support on, or whether I just want all out. What's your advice? How would you talk through that process? What are your, what would you be looking for in that? Is minority share anything you would discuss?
Honestly, it's not really something that I've thought of. I don't really think it works for us in our current model. We would be looking to acquire a majority stake in any business.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Just to flip it on the other side, how does it affect Rowe if one of the big consolidators buys in your geographical area? Is it good sort of picking ground for staff or new business, or is it a difficulty, a challenge?
I think it probably throws up both of those things, actually. I think it presents an opportunity, because there may be some disenchanted account execs who maybe don't see the world in the same way that they did before the deal happened, and that throws up some opportunities. Maybe that business has taken its eye off the ball whilst that process has been going on. Maybe some opportunity to pick up some business. By the same token, somebody on your doorstep, maybe they'll turn some eyes in your own business as well. So it creates both.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there, in terms of what you guys are offering, I know we've had conversations about this before, but you guys have quite a good staff development program and sort of building up your staff base, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of development, we are proactive in the way that we look to develop our staff. We refreshed our approach to performance management earlier in this year. I'll start that again. We refreshed our approach to performance management this year that brings a real focus on the development conversation aspect of that as well. So it's not just about the core metrics, it's also about making sure a conversation takes place around how the individual wants to develop, and then what we can do as a business to be able to support that. We're very proud to be charter brokers, and we encourage all of our staff to undertake the CII qualifications and provide support for that. And that's something that we like to talk about to our clients as well, because it really underpins the professionalism. And we feel that professionalism, combined with the core values that sit so strong within our business, does mean that we do have a connected and engaged group of people within the team.
Yeah, I'm just going to add to that. We've got some very wise old heads, and some people who have been right around the block, probably including myself. But we also have people who are just starting out on their insurance broking journey, and it's about them being able to suck up as much of that experience as they can from the older guys, which actually has been a challenge in COVID. You talk about onboarding people, and you learn so much from being around people in the office, and that passing on of knowledge almost unconsciously, actually. And in a home working environment, that becomes far more of a challenge, and you have to work much harder at it. But yeah, no, we have a very supportive environment for learning and developing your career.
What in terms of your overall growth aspirations, have you got like a 5-year plan, double the size, increase book X, book Y? How do you go about that, and how's COVID impacted that?
We do, yes, yeah. We have. I think we set a 10-year plan. I think that was 3 years ago. We review that annually and track to it every quarter. And yeah, we set our 10-year plan to get to £40 million of GWP by 2027. I think. I think it's fair to say that COVID has put a dent in those plans. But yeah, no, we're focused on getting there.
Where were you 3 years ago in terms of GWP? And I know you mentioned you're about 18 million now.
I don't know, 14, something like that.
So the trajectory, COVID notwithstanding, has been pretty good, which is sort of underpinned by focus. It's what we were talking about earlier on, which is incredible. And I think, because I speak to lots of people, lots of brokers actually, about business and tactics and strategy and marketing and sales and all of these wonderful things. And I think that focus is what underpins every success in so many ways. And it's incredible when you really, really say to somebody, okay, I hear what you're saying. Where's the focus? Where's the focus? I think it's really interesting. And we, so Boston Tullis, we're now 18 months old, so newbies, but we all moved into the office. We're all working from home. We all moved into an office this year, only in the last couple of months, and the trajectory has just taken off in a way that I could never have anticipated prior to that. And it's that sitting in an office and vibing off each other and learning from each other, and I think it's incredible. And I'll be very sad come Thursday. Very sad indeed.
Yeah, that focus bit. Sorry, Chris, I spoke over you there. I'll go again. That focus bit for me really manifests itself in two areas. One being our people, and the other being our clients. And particularly at a time like this, hopefully by listening to and supporting our clients and giving them what they need in insurance terms to be able to keep going, whether that be a reduced form of coverage or a more of a price sensitive approach during this time. The hope is that as we emerge out of this, whenever that may be, whatever that might look like, that as that client then gets on its trajectory for growth again, that we benefit from that.
How have you guys supported particularly the AV customers you've got over the last 7 months? You said they've been particularly hard hit. What is it you're able to do? Obviously, you can't go in and turn COVID around. What is it you're able to do from your perspective?
Well, I think the first thing that we've done is accepted that area of our business is going to get a hit. We've been very, very caring. We've given return premiums back as soon as we've been able to do that. We're just talking to them all the time. We've just taken the view that, look, if we part on good terms, because these guys are going to come back in the future. So we've pretty much accepted that side of the business is going to take a hit. We'll take the hit in the short term, and we'll be there for them in the long term.
Makes a lot of sense. Question I always ask everybody, and is obviously how we started talking, is around the sales and marketing strategic planning that you guys have in place. How, if at all, have you had to pivot that through COVID, and what is your broad marketing strategy?
One of the areas I mentioned earlier is around the referrals, the recommendations, and the cross-sell and the upsells, and that really has become much more of an important area throughout this. In the past, we've been quite active in the area of telesales, and actually earlier on in this, we saw that was one of the key areas that was most impacted, was the ability to then win over and convert in a remote environment, in a Zoom environment. We've got teams that were very used to building their relationships through face-to-face meetings and going to clients' premises and really building that intimacy and that relationship with the clients in that environment. I think there are signs that is starting to change now, and the longer this goes on, I think people are becoming more used to using Zoom. I think in the middle phase there was a pushback against it, but there are some small signs now as we go into the second lockdown that there may be an opportunity for telemarketing again, and we've refocused our approach there, and we've really refocused on the type of clients that we're looking to focus on there, those that we feel we can really make a difference and add value. So we've really refined that criteria to make sure that it's the best customer for us, but it's also where we can add our expertise.
Just talking on, the reason I thought of the question was your comment, Chris, in reference to the AV niche. Do you develop sort of business support collateral that you can send to your clients or prospects? So when we're talking about the AV particularly, I was thinking about, yes, we might have lost you on good terms, but actually I'm still going to keep in touch with you because I'm still going to, this particular information that's very relevant to your sector, I'm going to send it over to you, or we've got this particular expertise that's come out from another client, it might be of value to you. Do you have any processes around the sort of business support advice collateral that you send to prospects and customers?
Yeah, we're very proud to be in one of the top tier of insurance providers for the audiovisual and events industry, and that means we've built quite a strong profile in that sector. We also have recognized experts within our team, and in fact this week one of our team is hosting his own podcast webcast on the insurance impacts for the audiovisual and events industry. We're also active in the newsletter, and we partner with industry organizations, so that we do have an input into the discussion on the key topics facing the different sectors. Whilst the AV and events industry has been absolutely devastated by this, there are some really good examples of innovation throughout this, whether that be in the way that people look to deliver concerts in a socially distanced way, or the way people are refocusing their businesses. And we have one new business in that sector as well, despite there being very little going on. So there are some real encouraging signs and some great examples of innovation that should hopefully sustain that side of the business when things turn around.
That's really good to hear, because you guys said that you've just been through a rebrand and just modernizing a few things, and being on things like webcams and podcasts particularly is such a modern thing now that it's an incredible thing to be jumping on. So that's awesome. So I think that's been incredibly interesting to hear a bit about you guys, particularly about your growth strategy and your acquisition model and how incredible things are going there. I think maybe to end on a good note, I would love to hear why, if I'm an insurance broker and I'm looking to jump out, why should I sell to you guys? Go.
Well, number one, I think has got to be our culture. We're nice people to do business with, actually, we blend the good parts of a family business with the more slightly corporate stuff of a larger organisation. We've got a really good blend of the two. We've done it before. We've successfully bought 4 businesses and absorbed a couple of other books into there as well. We know what we're doing. We have a system. We have a process to do it, and it's and actually it's a comfortable journey with us. You know, if you were to speak to the guys who have just bought, I think they'll agree that it's been a comfortable journey, and that's what we aim to do because of our culture. You know, we want to bring this in.
I'm sold. Fabulous. On that note, guys, I'd like to thank you both very much for your time. It's been really interesting chatting to you. And I do wish you all the very well for onboarding two people during lockdown. I'd love to hear how it goes and what lessons learnt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.